it is very clear that Peter Obi appears to be the most popular aspirant on the platform of the PDP. Peter Obi appears to be the most widely acceptable aspirant, and this is not so far-fetched. The reason for Peter Obi's acceptance today is because he is seen by many to possess the qualities needed to actually manage and pilot the affairs of a cash-strapped, debt-riddled, and poor-performing country such as Nigeria. Now, Peter Obi has a reputation for frugal management of public resources and impressive performance as governor of 8 years in Anambra. His antecedents speaks clearly for him. Peter Obi may not have been as popular as this a few years ago, but the politics of patronage was the norm and was one that was widely acceptable to all Nigerians. But today that we seem to have come to our wit's end, we've seen where the politics of patronage and resource sharing has taken us to as a country. We are at the tipping point of becoming a failed state economically, security-wise, and on all indices of national development, Nigeria is failing. And so Nigerians, in their quest for good governance, appear at this point to be galvanizing support for that candidate whom they see as possessing the most important qualities that are required now to salvage whatever is left of Nigeria. And that person happens to be Peter Obi of the PDP. And there's something the PDP may not have considered in its permutation so far. It is the fact that Peter Obi comes from the Southeast. The Southeast that is predominantly of the Igbo-speaking people of Nigeria happens to be one of the big three ethnic groups in Nigeria. And so when you look at the Northwest votes, and you imagine, for instance, that the APC or President Muhammadu Buhari has a vote bank of 12 million votes, it is also instructive to note that Peter Obi, with the massive support he's having from his home region and across the country, can be said to have a potential vote bank of not less than 10 million votes. Because if you look at the mathematics, the people of Southeast Nigeria are actually resident in all parts of the country. In fact, it is believed that the Southeast community in every part of Nigeria constitute the largest communities, second only to the indigenous communities or to the host communities. And so we've seen how this particular ethnic group has supported the PDP since 2015. And that is why whenever you have the PDP reaching the 10 to 12 million mark in every presidential election since 2015, you can be rest assured that an overwhelming majority of that vote comes from people of Southeast origin, wherever they reside, from Lagos to Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, and of course the Southeast. So we may look at the figures coming out of the Southeast alone and assume that the voting strength of the Southeast is negligible. It is not so. If you look at it from that perspective, you'll be missing a very important point. And what am I saying in essence? Why would the PDP want to risk a sure 10 million vote draft of the Southeast in search of an elusive 12 million vote that will not necessarily come to it, even if you field a northern candidate? Atiku Abubakar or Tambuwal or any of the other northern aspirants on the platform of the PDP do not have what it takes to pull the right numbers from the northern part of this country. So at best, what the PDP should do is to leverage on the 10 million vote bank that comes with the PDP candidacy and simply draw from the moderate and liberal votes in the north to make it up and win the presidency. So if there's any aspirant within the PDP fold today that actually has what it takes to win the presidency for the PDP, it's actually Peter Obi, because of his antecedents, because of his wide acceptability as we speak across the country, from the north to the south, from the east to the west. And so it will simply resolve all of the problems. It will zone to the south. It will also give the southeast that has been clamoring for this presidency for as long as we remember now, and also present a good candidate in the person of Mr. Peter Obi. Let me say this: zoning is not an anathema. Is not an anathema to competence. Zoning and competence are actually mutually inclusive, because zoning is simply in advancement of the principles of social justice, equity, and unity, which is conditions, which is a condition that is preceding national development. Without unity, you can't have national development. And in zoning, you have to zone competently. And I'm saying, when you pick a P2B, for example, on the platform of the PDP, you have zoned competently. You have presented somebody from the right part of the country that has the competence and the capabilities to deliver. And so the PDP will do itself a lot of good if it does not take the Southeast vote, and by extension, the entire Southern vote for granted. Some of the leading socio-cultural groups in the South, the Pandef, the Ohanese, the Afenifere, and of course, their allies in the North, those that we call the Middle Belt people, have come together several to say, look, we need to zone to the South, and not just to the South, but to the Southeast. And we're saying the PDP is fortunate to have somebody from the Southeast that can go all the way and clinch the presidency if indeed Nigerians want good governance. And so it will be doing itself a lot of good if it does the right thing, because it will yield the right fruit. I listened to Chief Olisametu earlier when he said there are weak aspirants but strong candidates, and that there are strong aspirant but weak candidates. Primary elections of a political party are not in themselves an end. It is simply a means to an end. And the end ultimately is to get a good candidate that can win you the general election. And so the PDP is supposed to actually galvanize the structure and give support to Peter Obi, who otherwise would have been a weak aspirant, to emerge strong and be able to lead the party towards a formidable attempt at the 2023 presidency. And if for any reason Peter Obi does not win, he can at least secure the traditional support base for the PDP in the South-South, the Southeast, parts of the Southwest, and the Middle Belt areas, enough for the PDP to remain a major political party going into the post-Buhari era in Nigeria. Otherwise, like I said earlier, the PDP risks losing a strong base in the Southeast, the South-South, parts of the Southwest, and the Middle Belt, in chase of a barrage.
So good evening, everyone. Mazezoke speaking to us. How are we doing today? Mazezoke is speaking to us. This is a breaking news that many of you may, and sometimes when I read some comments, I just laugh. Some of us are saying that the information is fake. I say, well, it might be to you. If you do not know what is happening, then it might be fake to you. But also there might be other people who are privy to the information in question here. Now, as usual, my name is Mazezoke, and I would be having a conversation on the breaking news that is already broken in some instances, where the front runner in the People's Democratic, People's Democratic Party, the PDP, presidential aspirant, has decided to resign from the PDP. Now, there were no much reasons given as the reason why he resigned. But again, they say he who is close to someone hears the smell or perceives the smell of the breath. So for those who are aware, those who are close will know one or two things that may have led to this. The reason why this analysis was played, as if this guy, the guy that spoke now, more or less a prophet. He understood that this day will come. PDP as a party was forewarned in order to make things right. But hey, they say in Igbo, 'Ọnwụ ga-egbu nwa nkịta ara ekwu ya n'isu nsị.' The death that will kill a dog will never allow that dog to perceive the smell of feces. Having said the following, I would have this evening with me a man many of you know from this platform, the chairman, Peter Obi Coalition, Peter Obi, Coalition for Peter Obi, who is also the director of strategy, Peter Obi Support Network, a network that is supporting Peter Obi. Now, I reached out to him to say, can you come and let's discuss this? And you may also join us. You may also join us and tell us what you think. Do you think this is a good thing that Peter Obi has, some people use the word dump PDP, and some also think he resigned from the PDP. But the letter says he resigned, and that's why I left that letter there. The letter says he resigned from the PDP. Now, permit me to invite Marcel. Go by here. Marcel, welcome once more to Ninja Media TV.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mazi, and thanks for having me.
Now, I know to you it might not have come as a shock, because yesterday I was aware that the Coalition for Peter Obi issued a statement demanding that Peter Obi should leave the PDP. And that same yesterday, around 10 o'clock at night, you appeared on Arise TV, also making the same demand that Peter Obi should leave PDP. Now, the question to you is, what informed the decision of the Coalition for Peter Obi demanding that he leaves PDP? What is it that you guys know that other Nigerians don't know?
Okay, Mazi, you know, in one of your program, I said that you cannot solve a problem with the same type of thinking that created that problem. You know, and that is one thing we would always keep in mind. At times, you think that people has changed and that they've learned their lessons and that there is a time to chart a new course, but alas, people will still be who they are. So we made our analysis, and the analysis was very simple. We knew that the delegates are a very powerful force, right, in every party. And let me use the opportunity to tell Nigerians, go and join a political party. Go and join a political party. It is very, very important. And maybe what we need to push next in our electoral law is to stop all these delegate elections. Let it be a direct primaries, not indirect, so that all party members can come and decide who represents their party. Because what is currently happening now is that a group of people would come together. Most of them are sponsored. They will win delegate seats and then just very harmful, and then present to Nigerians the type of candidates Nigerians should vote for. Okay, and we're beginning to understand this very, very clear. Initially Nigerians felt unconcerned. Those era of even if NEPA bill certificate to go vote, those eras are past. We now understand that those things does not take us anywhere. Instead, it messes up the whole system. So a group of people, in PDP, we are looking at around 800 or 811 or probably 850, okay? They will come together and they will look at all the candidates that are contesting under PDP. By the powers behind them, they will now choose the candidate to present to us. Now, had it been this choosing of candidate is based on the interest of the masses, that means if I'm going to choose a candidate to represent my party, it is not by any inducement, it is not by any coercion. I went there naturally in my own to pick what I think is the best for my country, then we can allow that. But what usually happens is this. In a particular state, you have the state delegates. Now, the state delegates are elected from each of the local governments, right? Then they will now come together to state. So a state governor can actually determine who they will need to elect in their various delegates. So because they know that within each of the states, the people are powerless, so the state governor with a lot of resources can actually come and handpick people with his influence, handpick people in the whole local government, even do some shenanigans to ensure that people he wants comes in. And then he will now aggregate these people and then take them to Abuja for them to go and elect who will be a president for the whole country. So you need to see how this thing is being rigged from the from the inception. So imagine that all the states does the same thing. Who do you think will determine the president of a country that a party will present? So if in my, let's assume in Nigeria, I belong to party A, and party A has won, let's say 5 states, right? Party A has won 5 states. So the state governors of each of the party A has powers to determine the voting pattern of each of the delegates, right? Across board. So what that simply means is that state governors are very powerful. And when they now come together to form a committee, where you see a committee of state governors like Southern Governors Forum, Northern Governors Forum, Nigerian Governors Forum, that is where the power block sits. So within that their forum, they can look at themselves and say, okay, the next president can come out among us. You see how Nigerians are being cut off entirely from the whole shenanigan of having to vote who they want. So the committee are going to come and say the one person should come out. Now, when they all agree, it's most likely they will all bring one person out. Do you understand? When they all agree, it's most likely they will all bring one person out. Now, if they do not agree, maybe 2 or 3 governors wanted to go their way. So the delegates will be shared among 2 or 3 governors, with every delegate holding its own state governor's delegate. The same thing is happening nationwide. Now, in the states where the party does not have a state governor, what would happen? There's some superpower brokers, maybe a former governor or somebody that has money will corner the delegates and bring them to Abuja and tell them who to vote for. So in the actual sense, if you are not in a committee of state, or you do not have the buy-in of the super stakeholders that determines the direction of the delegates, you don't stand a chance. And that is where our problem starts. Because at the end of the day, it is the candidate they present to us that we vote. So we are not actually voting who we wanted.
So what it means
has an option. They have an option. There are so many parties this time around. So it is time to bury those parties that think that they can form a cult-like kind of followership and determine who we will vote for. It's time to bury those parties. And Nigerians have to rise up and take their country from them, because the money they use in doing all these things, we know where the money is coming from. Cut them off politics for 2 consecutive periods. You won't see any money. So that is it. So after we must have done this analysis and we look at the chances of our principal, and there is this thing about electoral, the new electoral law, that if you contest a primary in a particular party, you cannot go to another party. So the aim is to actually take Peter Obi off the ballot box. So they know that once they corner him in PDP and he was not able to get the party and he participated in that primary, then he cannot be in the ballot box. How can you think of taking a resourceful person that everybody believes that this is the person we think that has the requisite strength, intelligence, precedence, everything to save this country? You think you want to just cut him off? We advised him to leave.
Now, what is, okay, Marcel here, where is the place of PDP in the Southeast? By the virtue of leaving the PDP, do you consider that the PDP is dead in the Southeast? Someone argued with me earlier today saying that what they should be doing now is to buy the last coffin of the PDP, for the last burial, as long as Southeast is concerned. Because having served the PDP for 22 years by next year, depending, since they've been in government or since the inception of PDP, some would argue is 23 years. So having been in a particular party for 20-something years, and when it gets to your turn, everything gets, bastardized. Recall that there was this analysis that the NEC sitting together to zone or to decide on zoning before the 2019 election, that was actually done 1 year prior to that election. While all of a sudden, you know, before this convention now, everything goes from nothing to the point where it is now thrown open. And in throwing that open, you can see the gang up. The gang up here, you can see the governor of Abia State, who incidentally is also an Igbo man, but has sold his soul to Wike in River State. Many people said, for a couple of porridge. Now, the governor of Enugu State, Ugwuanyi, has actually done the same thing. So what is your coalition doing? Are you guys getting ready to bury the PDP in the Southeast?
Mazi, power belongs to the people, not a group of people. Power belongs to the people. And that is what we are bringing to Nigerians, to tell them that, look, power actually belongs to you. Gone are those days when you would think I am, is what they present to me, I will take. No, there are multiple parties, right? There are multiple parties. And what I'm praying for is that those parties should come together to form a coalition to take out APC and PDP. Because most of these vampires, most of these shenanigans that wants to suck the blood of the country, they want to bury the country for how many years? They belong to these two parties. And what we are saying that it is time that Nigerians realize that power belongs to them. They should make up their mind to bury this party. Now, let's take an analysis of PDP. PDP, for more than 20 years, the strongest PDP base has been in the South. And predominantly
and Southeast in particular.
Exactly. So the Southeast has been very, very loyal to PDP from 1999. Very, very loyal. Even the Southeast is suffering today because of their loyalty to PDP. When every other zone, when most of other zones swing to APC during the Buhari election, the Southeast remained with PDP. The Southeast is the reason why PDP survived. Now, those people that ran away from PDP, they all came back. The Southeast is there. So tell me one reason why someone that has been very, 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 very loyal to you from the day you were born had been very, very loyal to you, and patiently you have been zoning in different places. They were not complaining. They knew that at a point it's going to come to their turn, and that you cannot take it away from them. And then just when it is that time, you now stood up and said you are throwing away zoning. Who does that? No, exactly. Who does that?
Now, many people would argue the problem is actually not by zoning per se, because as the other analyst said, it's not mutually exclusive. It doesn't mean to get the best candidate, but the argument here is that he is the best candidate. Now, and there is this conspiracy that brings me, and I piggyback on my last question, which you tactically avoided. What is going to happen to PDP in the Southeast? Are you and your group and your coalition going to work against PDP to ensure that the PDP inadvertently does not exist in the Southeast?
We are going 100% with our principle. We are going 100% with our principle, and we are mobilizing every single resource up to the last blood on our drop in our body. We are going 100% with our principle. His Excellency Peter Obi. So let's not mince words about it. If we going with our principle means that any party is going to die, hello, let them rest in peace.
Well, but so there is what it means. There is no strategy to really work against the party, but you are adopting. Are you adopting the strategy of non-confrontational approach, where you basically go ahead and do your thing and allow them to leave if you so wish?
See, Mazi, once I have moved out of a house, I don't have any business with that house again. I'm in a house, and then the house, after being loyal to that house for 20-something years, and the house suddenly thinks that it's the time I'm supposed to enjoy the work that I've done, the labor. I'm supposed to enjoy it. That is when they think they can take it off from me. And then I pack my load and then I leave the house. I don't have any business with the house
Do you
again.
think?
So whatever the house does is left to him. But one thing is certain: go and check the records. PDP votes comes from the south, predominantly the southeast. They are not going to get that vote. Go and check all the politicians in southeast are leaving PDP. Count them; they are all leaving. So where is the vote going to come from? So let them go and manufacture. Let them go and manufacture the votes.
Earlier today, there was this report that the senator from Abia State, the outspoken Senator Enyinia Baribe, has also left the PDP. It appears to be a coordinated, a coordinated approach where the senator leaves the PDP, and also it was later said that the most ranking senator in the person of Senator Ike Ekweremadu also left the PDP. But what is not clear is where Ekweremadu has gone to. But very clear that Abaribe has gone to APCA. So do you think it is a fantastic strategy for these movements to have happened, especially at the lower, at the governorship level?
Mazi, what do you expect? What do you expect them to do? I mean, let's just be very factual. What do you expect them to do? That I've been loyal to you for more than 20-something years, and then suddenly you rejected me. You still want me to stay? No, let us see. We are not even having that discussion. PDP as an opposition party failed, because if they have lived up to their opposition status, this country will not be in a mess. APC gave them a tough opposition when they were in power. So we were expecting that when APC comes to power, they will live up to it. But you know what? They all went to sleep and sucked
Yeah,
up.
but don't you, no, but don't you consider that PDP probably was suffering from opposition of big manism? Someone who has been, someone who has been in power for so long does not know how to. It's just like the way you are now. You identify fake news, and by your virtue or by your level, you are not inclined to sharing fake news. But you know that the APC came to power by virtue of misinforming the Nigerian public. So maybe PDP is doing the job of opposition, but not hyping it to the point of injuring or, basically destroying the core fabrics of the society called Nigeria. What do you think?
I will try as much as possible to keep PDP out of my discussion, because they have their baggages. So our focus now is how to deliver His Excellency. He's going to join a new party, and that party is where we are all going to. And let me tell you, we made a call for 1 million man march. Do you know how many came out? Over 7 million in the whole country came out for that march. So, and they came out simply because of the man you are seeing behind me. Look at him, this man here. That is who they came out for. And that is the man we are following. So we are waiting for him to announce the next party he's going to. We will move all our structures, all our houses, clean our hand, come out the dust. We are moving with him. And we are going to get down to grassroots engagement and participation. And we are calling all Nigerians, because this battle is not a battle of me or you, it's a battle for everybody. We need to rescue our country. We need to take back this country from them. Because let me tell you, the country is a pipeline, is a resource to them. The money that is meant for this country is what they are stealing. And they steal it and then use it to come and steal again and come and steal again. So where the power of the masses lies is in that vote. You see that vote? That is where the power of the masses lies. And Nigerians have one in a lifetime opportunity in 2023 to end it. End it. If Peter Obi does 2 times, those guys cannot survive 8 years outside government fund. They don't have any business. It's not as if they are trading. It's not as if they have set up shop anywhere. It's not as if they have some career. Nothing. It's pure politics. Keep them away for 8 years. I bet you will not hear them. Go and check the ones that have lost election for the past eight years. Where are they now? They are probably roaming around the street. So Nigerians have to make up their mind. 2023, come and take back your country. I am happy to be left. I'm so happy,
But
because
many,
I've been thinking that How can I honestly
many observers have argued that if the party had blocked him, he as a person may have contributed to the reason why the vultures, quote unquote, not derogatory here, but kind of excluded him because he has been going around granting interview where he says that he wants to move Nigeria from sharing formula to production formula. And those who live on rentier economy, those who, as you know, that the Nigerian oil sector, the level of oil theft has never been this high. That means, under a corruption fighting general, oil theft has gone to an alarming rate. So, do you think that one of the reasons why this gang up happened with him in the PDP is as a result of him coming to the average Nigerians and saying, "People, I got to tell you the truth. There is no money to share. But if you join me, we can repair this. That is going to be better for you and I and the children unborn." Is that your case?
But is it not true that there's no money to share? If there's money to share, why are they going to borrow? Why are they borrowing heavily? So what they're actually doing is they are now sharing the future of our children. They're actually going to borrow to share. So when people does not have money again, and you're now going to borrow in the name of the country to share, and that's what is happening. So His Excellency was absolutely right. He's an economist. He understands this thing. He simply knows that the country is not producing. And when you're not producing, what are you eating? If you're a farmer, you plant and your crops are not coming out to sustain you to the next planting season, what are you going to eat? So it is very, very clear. Now, the people that have lived their life all their life in government will buy them clothes, government will buy them car, government will give them house all their life. They don't have any career, they don't have anything. All they do is government. They will never support someone that says he's coming to stop and cut down governance expenses. They will never support someone that says it's going to block and ensure that we don't have so much leakages. They will never support somebody that says it's going to come and change from sharing formula to production formula. It's only someone that is smart will understand that what I'm simply doing is to empower you so you can produce so that the whole house can eat. So I have 6 children and they are not doing anything. All they are doing is to wait on their daddy to bring money and they eat. And they are grown up. They're in their 40s. They're not doing anything. Nigeria, they grow up 60s. They're not doing anything. They are now waiting for their father that is so old to come and produce something for them to eat. And then one of the younger one among them looked and said, "Come on, this our father is old. He might not really be bringing money the way. Let me step forward and begin to work and bring something so that rather than we sharing father's wealth, we can make our own wealth." And they said no. These are very simple things. And maybe Nigerians do not understand the concept of production formula. If you understand what they call productive capability is your ability, all the resources you have around you to produce something. Do you know why China has moved from being a poor nation to a rich nation? It's simply because China put in place the infrastructure that will improve the productive capability of its citizens. Let me give you an example of one productive capability that Nigeria needs. 1, power. Fix power today, make power available in Nigeria 24 hours, and leave Nigerians alone. They will sort themselves out. That is giving people productive capability. Train network. Build a train network, not the one you build 1 kilometer for 600 billion naira. Maximize the money you have to build a train network that is economically viable, not the one I will build to my village because I belong to that village. So if I'm asked today, where should I build my train network in Nigeria that is economically viable? The first thing I would do is to say, okay, take a report of your flight schedules. Which airport point to point has the highest traffic point to point? Then do your road analysis and say, which road do most motorists ply most? You don't need a professor to tell you. Abuja, Lagos, right? Is the most lucrative. So I built a train station, a train from Abuja straight to Lagos. I will recover my money because there will be enough traffic and there will be enough people that use it. When I recover my money, I will use the money and build another train from Abuja to another place. But you know what these guys do? They will go and borrow money, use money, build helipad in their village, use money, build train to their brothers in neighboring countries. Where is the economic sense? How does that improve my own productive capability? How does that make me more productive? So when you hear His Excellency say he will convert it from a sharing formula to a production formula, he's basically telling people that I am going to increase the productive ability of my citizens so they can create wealth. And there will be enough wealth for everybody. These are simple. It takes somebody that understands these things. But you know what? They do not understand it. All they're interested in, sign the paper, bring money, we share, and everybody go. And where are they sharing the money? They use it to travel abroad, buy houses, send their children abroad, and everything. And then they leave the country impoverished. So now what they are now doing is that since the oil money is no longer enough, they are borrowing in our name and to sustain their lifestyle. We need someone that will look at the governance and be prudent. Prudent governance. Income minus expenses must give me profit. If it's giving me negative that I'm owing, it means that my expenses is more. The expenses are making the more. So I reduce my expenses or I find a way to increase my income. But these guys are not doing anything. Rather, they are going to borrow to now close up the negatives. And they are spending. They are not improving income. They are not dropping their expenses. So they are borrowing. Who does that? And His Excellency has made it clear in a simple language. I will change you from sharing formula to a production formula to a point where you will be productive. And if you are productive, you can feed your family and feed everybody. And crime will reduce. The reason why you are seeing all this kidnapping, killing is because people are not being empowered. Their productive capacity is low. The only thing they think is to go and take gun and go and kidnap somebody and make money. But when you understand that you can be empowered to be productive, you will not get involved in crimes. So these are very simple. And that's why when I listen to His Excellency, I understand clearly where he's going. And that's why we have said we will follow him. We will follow him. And I'm telling Nigerians today, for the future of your children yet unborn, if our generation that has a P2B cannot make him president, forget it. Just forget it. I don't know when the P2B will come again in our generation.
So this is indeed a call for Nigerians to join, irrespective of where His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi has gone. That every Nigerian must, all hands must be on deck to deliver him.
Definitely.
Now, what will be your permutation? Who do you think, by next week, who do you think that the PDP might be having as their presidential flag bearer?
I'm trying not to get involved with PDP politics. I've told you.
Yes, but I like dragging you back to it.
No, I am fine. Let them go.
There is this theory that if this theory of the streets, if you can't join them, you pour sand in their gari.
We are not interested. Is a party. Look, let them just go. We are moving forward. We will meet them on the field. Let them bring any candidates.
I have another guest here. I have Obi joining us, I believe, from the United States of America. Obi, you're welcome to the stream this afternoon, or this evening, rather.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So, Obi, quickly, what's your take on the breaking news that Mr. Peter Obi has left the PDP?
I didn't see it actually coming this way. I think it's a good move. I mean, the party, there's no way the party will show him the kind of love that is expected from his supporters, which means to give him the ticket from day one. The 100 is not there. But again, part of me says that actually working to be on the ticket as a vice president. So, I mean, because at this point, the parties who are available right now, I don't think it's not any chance for them to give him a ticket. I personally will advise him to come to NNPP, which is the next force to beat, not just the third force. Because as we go, I think from today on, as we go, a lot of people will make taking the same step that Peter Obi has taken, and NNPC has actually.
Okay, let me quickly stop there. I will also have another important guest in our midst. I have the big sister in the house. That is the Amazon of the Niger Delta. She was the first person that fired the shot when no one was speaking about it. She was the first person that talked about why and made argument why the Southeast must produce the next president. Sis, good evening and welcome to the Media TV.
Thank you. Good evening. Is it true that Peter Obi has left PDP?
You know, you recall this afternoon we had a conversation along that line, as if and now it has been confirmed that that is true. So before you joined us, Ovie was making a contribution and requesting that Peter should join NNPP. But I have a counter argument on that. I'll let you finish your thoughts on that, Ovie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean, it will be very difficult for him to clinch any major political party ticket right now for major reasons. A lot of people are accusing him of not be financially charitable to the system that he is participating in. And I think that is working against him. That's working against him, and will continue to work against him because it's unfortunate that the system that we adopt, the system that we choose.
No. Sorry. How can you be talking about in one hand you want to you're making an argument that he's being uncharitable with gifting. On the other hand, you're blaming the system. But you're actually advancing the argument of the system.
Let me finish I'm not blaming the system. Let me finish what I'm saying. But the system that we choose, that is the only way you will make any progress within the system that we are practicing right now. These two political system or this presidential system of Poland, it's money in takes. There's no way you can go around it. I'm sorry. And especially a country where at the moment, everybody is poor. Everybody. So how do you go about achieving that kind of feat without not you having the money now, but ability for you to attract those people that were spending money on your behalf?
Recall that in 2008. Recall that in 2008, Barack Obama, not known, but at least the people wanted a change, and the people worked for him too. So, do you think Nigerians are not in a position to actually think? Listen, the PDP and the APC, we have tried PDP for 16 years, and we have tried APC for 8 years, and none of them is working for us. But here we have a man of impeccable integrity, a man that when he goes to the EFCC and lays down his files, the EFCC will only fold their hand and their arms and be looking at him like a masquerade, like a cow that saw a masquerade, as it were. Yes. So if
you're right.
I mean, if you're making your argument for the status quo, does that mean you support the status quo and you don't want the status quo to change?
It is not about me supporting the status quo, and I want it to change. But that's why I started by saying the political system that we choose is for the elite. It's for the elite. Unfortunately, yes, the man is for the people, but at this point, you can clearly see it now. Not people they choose the president. They will select whoever they want and present it for it. Also, whoever we vote for 2023 is win-win for them. It's a selection process. It is very obvious now. Come by this weekend, they will select few men for us, 2 or 3.
Okay. Before
Obama as an example. Okay, let me agree with you that he's an unknown person. But you imagine the campaign that Barack Obama run, millions around the world donated to that campaign. How much Obi has raised so far?
Exactly the argument I want us to come to. You talked about how much Barack Obama was able to raise. Now, bear in mind that this election hasn't even started. You know, Obi has been raising money. Do you know? I think Marcel, can you talk about the 1 million? Is it 1,000 naira challenge? Peter Obi support network is running. I mean, that is another way of getting people to get involved, because when someone donates 1,000 naira, that person becomes a stakeholder. So again, Nigeria, because when people say,
how much has he raised?
Hold on.
How much this
delegate?
delegate?
Hold on, because maybe what I'm hearing is that people are not entirely coming forth because he hasn't already clinched the ticket. Bear in mind that the moment he clinches the ticket, people will come. I believe so. So, Marcel, can you have a word on that?
See, we need to understand Nigerian political system, and my friend Obi, while I agree with you to some extent, I also disagree on the other end.
Opinion polls
You
from the words on the street.
You can have all the money. You can have all the money you want, billions of naira. You can have it. If you do not have loyalty within the delegates, they will just collect your money and still not vote for you. So there are two things at play: money and the governor in a state that is able to lock down the delegates. Now, let me tell you how these things happen. The governor will handpick these people from the local government and a state. Then when he's bringing them to Abuja, he's moving all of them to a particular hotel where they are locked down. You won't even have access to them. And then he has extra he kept by the side. Do you understand? So that if for any reason why any one of you wants to play smart, they will just switch the delegate list. So it is a loyalty thing plus money. So you can only talk about money when you have secured the loyalty that, okay, I think I have loyal people that when I give them money, they can work for me. So it's not a game of money. It's a game of the fact that very few that has gotten access to power and our collective wealth is now using both that power and our collective wealth to subvert a process that should be ordinarily transparent. So it's not about people be having money. Nigerians are ready. No, hold on. Let me finish now.
Ovie, hold on.
If we are certain, if me and you are certain that if we raise $10,000 and give the delegates that they are going to vote for Obi, I am telling you that Nigerians will raise that money on behalf of Obi. But you know what? Who goes into a business or into a session where he knows that, okay, do you hear the story of what is happening in a particular state where the candidate has to go and use hunters to go and retrieve his
vigilantes
money?
that was in Kaduna, vigilantes and hunters to recover his money.
Exactly. So it is a system that is a system that you can so that's a typical example. But you know what? Like we said, you cannot bring the same level of thinking that created a problem to solve it. That no, Obi has to move. Let him move to a place where he's not been tied, where they've not called him and say, okay, you have to sign that when you become president, you will give us this. No, we don't want that. We are trying to rescue our country. So we don't even want him to be entangled. We don't want him to be involved in any deal.
Okay, Marcel.
Please, so they can come and
now, Ovie, let me ask you this question. Ovie, hold on. Ovie, are you a member of NNPP?
Me?
Yes.
I'm leaning towards that. Not yet.
Okay, you're leaning towards that. Now, are you aware that NNPP is formed and owned and controlled by Kwankwaso?
I mean, that's the system we are operating on. Yes.
Okay, and he's unwilling to share. So how do you think that combo will work if he's unwilling to share?
That's what I remember again, because of my analysis, I said at this point, it is pretty much impossible for Peter Obi to claim any major political tickets. So I know.
Who said so? Who said so?
The issue of money here.
Aside, let's get practical here. Aside NNPP, you still have the Labour Party, which is a national party. You still have the SDP, which is a national party. You still have YPP, young, but is not entirely out of the game.
Yeah, see, that's where when I talk about the issue of money, it's not the money that you are going to spend a night or a week before the primary election. No, I mean, everybody is crediting Wike today that he's been oiling the party. I mean, this is a game. You are going for power. Nigeria #1 seat. It is not a joke. I don't care how you disrespect that country. It is not a joke. So Peter Obi is not a JJ. He's not a rookie. He no start today. He know the nitty-gritty. You're spending money no start from today. You know, go wake up. How much you want to raise over and I want to spend it? Yes, people will come in after you. So if you don't believe you are going to even go close to Clinching, don't even start. He knows that.
Yeah, but that's
So
why. That's why. You know, I
Right.
think you're. Sorry, I think you're arguing against yourself here, because in one breath, no. In one breath, you said they're not going to contribute money. In the other breath, you're saying if you spend money to a certain level, people will contribute, and that means you are now agreeing to the permutation that I made before. That the moment he spends money or you spend money, now not making it to anybody, you spend money to the point of clinching a party ticket, then people will have more faith. If someone gave 1,000 naira before just to ensure that you run your adverts and eventually you clinch the ticket, then okay, and the individual can now step up. But hold on over here. I have Ankyo Briggs now rejoining us. Let me get her in. So, sister, you're welcome back again.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I didn't know I didn't have any battery life of my device, so I had to put it aside.
It's fine. That is the ground zero happening to us.
Thank you.
I recently bought a power bank, and it was so big that I thought I better pass my neighbor. That's a generator, actually. But anyway, on a lighter note. So, what's your take on the news that we've just basically had?
Well, oh boy. If truly Peter Obi has left the PDP, if you recall some of the conversations I have had with you, over hours of conversation on this very issue, as to the fact that the North, the cabal, does not want to hand over power. I have said this publicly. I have said it privately. I have my reasons for saying so. Now, Peter Obi is a member of PDP, was the vice presidential aspirant, if you like, in 2019 when Atiku came on board. Now, Atiku is from the North. Atiku is a Muslim, and I'm not too clear, but I think Atiku also has Fulani attachments. Now, whether we like it, boy, what's happening to me this evening? Can you hear me, Mazi?
Yes, we can hear you, but you're somewhat upside down.
Good. Let me be talking and see what I can do to show. But anyway, and you know me, I shoot right from the hip, and I say it like I see it. You know, whether I'm right or wrong, time will tell. Now, when Atiku came on board, in my opinion, it was the turn of the North. So they claim, and we accepted it, that it was their turn. Now, when he lost the election, then Buhari continued with the turn of the North. And as far as I am concerned, this is no longer the turn of the North. It is the turn of the South. Now, in the South.
Okay. Sadly, the network there couldn't.
And again, Obi going to another new, smaller party. The issue of money again will come. The system we are practicing, this democratic system, now for elites, whether we like it or not. Now, before you come to our own level where we go vote.
Okay, hold on. I think she's back now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lisa, are you there?
Now,
go ahead.
As I was saying, I don't know where you lost me, but as I was saying, I saw no reason and still see no reason why Peter Obi did not come out much earlier than he did. That is one. Two, once he had come out, and you also know that we have had this discussion in the past, before even the interest picked up and others joined the cause that it should definitely come to the South, and not only that it should come to the South, that perhaps it should also go to the Southeast. Now, if we had been prepared, and this is where we miss it, we are never prepared for the
once more again, that's the tragedy. Sorry about that.
I think to
Network
be honest,
go ahead.
If we actually want to face the Nigerian problem squarely, I mean, the way Nigeria is set up now politically, there's no chance for anybody from that angle. As it is now, maybe in the nearest future, everything is skewed against the Southeast. People might not say the way it is, but that's how it is.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you mean that everything is skewed against the Southeast?
Now, let's just put the current issue now on the table, which is the issue of delegates. In both parties, however you want to look at it, I mean, even the Northwest alone is twice more than the size in terms of delegates.
No. Ovie, I think it is
Northwest. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Okay, Marcel, can you respond to that?
Understand the peculiar nature of PDP as it currently is. Most of PDP governors are in the South.
Okay.
And from our analysis, the number of delegates that are from the South, if they all vote for a particular Southern candidate, they will clinch the ticket.
How? Sorry.
813 delegates, of which 500 and something is from the South. South has the governors, and then the other elective. There's no governor in the North. So most of the northern states are APC. So we made our analysis, and we know that if Wike had been brotherly to know that the Southeast should be given the opportunity, he would have backed a Southeast candidate no matter what. Negotiate whatever he wants to negotiate, back a Southeast candidate. And if all the Southern votes goes for a candidate, they will clinch the ticket. But alas, you have no go and make
I'm not disagreeing. Gentlemen, hold on. Rick is back again. So can you take the podium, please? Can you hear us?
I can hear you very well.
Okay. Yes, sorry, you continue. Your network yanked you off again.
Honestly, okay. Hopefully, I will stay. I've switched devices, so hopefully, I will stay. All right. So, having having come this far, and having decided to leave the PDP, first of all, I do hope that Mr. Obi already made up his mind which party he is going to go into before he resigned from the PDP. That is one. Because if he has not done that, it will lose him time. And it then means that he is shopping around for a party. He shouldn't be shopping around for a party. He should have known which party.
I don't think that is the case.
Okay, fine.
Like I said,
fine.
within the next 48 hours, Nigerians will be availed as to what is happening. Actually, let's say within the next 24 hours.
Is it going
all right. I think that you alluded to that, and that was why when I tried to get a hold of you and I couldn't reach you, you were declining my call. I sent you a message and said, "Are you broadcasting?" Because that's about the only time you don't take my call. And then I suspected there was something I missed. But I think you more or less told me without telling me. So you know me now, Miss Eva, I smart small. So I picked it up and I was I was looking out for it and I saw it.
Please,
All
I,
right, so coming,
my armpit has no hair. I didn't say
I wish you are small, you smart.
no, I don't know anything, please. I'm nobody, I know nothing. I'm just listening to the analysis.
So really, seriously now, coming back to the point of Peter Obi, personally, I think that it is the right decision because I doubted very much and I expressed those concerns for you this afternoon very strongly that as much as he has a lot of following, himself and somebody like our brother Kingsley have so much following in the South. I want to express the fact that I doubt if they will give, if PDP, make a note of day, if PDP will give the ticket to Obi or in fact, anybody else. I think already where the ticket will land is an open secret. And anything to turn that around will be the hand of God. It will not be anything else, so we need to watch out for this thing. So basically, therefore, what we now have is an acceptance by the Southeast in the fact that Peter Obi has left the PDP, is an acceptance that the Igbos have now realized that the PDP political party is not going to give them the ticket. Now, I also believe that the APC is also not going to give a ticket to the Southeast. Now, there are other zones that are clamoring for tickets on the APC and the PDP parties. There are people from my own geopolitical zone, the Southwest, and the Northeast are saying it is their turn. It is not the turn of the North. Let us make this very clear. It is not the turn of the North, whether they are Southeast or Northeast or Central or whatever. It is not their turn. So, having put that aside, as someone from the South, I want to suggest to Mr. Obi that whichever party he goes to, he still has some months to be able to settle into that party. And he's bringing a lot to that party as a Southeast candidate. And I think one other person, in my opinion, that can also do that. But I believe that Peter Obi is ahead. Politically, Mazi, I suspect that Nigeria will implode politically. There is an implosion of politics or political power that is about to happen. The young man, the youth that was talking before I came in, was talking about money being an issue. Well, it may be an issue, and it is an issue, but I think that we should actually put our feet down on the fact that money is playing such a role. I have seen so many videos in the past 1 week of where two governors were sitting next to each other, and there were about 3 Ghana must go bags between them in the back. And that was full of money. Obviously, you didn't need to be a soothsayer to know that. And then the son of somebody is dishing out money. I also saw an aspirant giving bags of 2-point-something million to each of the local government in his state. This is scandalous. This is a shame. And I believe that things are about to get very bad in Nigeria. And I mean it. It's not funny. It's not something to laugh about. We all have to be very careful, but this is the time that will break or make Nigeria. This 2023, the decision will be made politically to split Nigeria, let everybody go their own way by the results of the election. Because I believe, and I have shared this with you, Mazi, that the results of this election, who will be the governor of what states, including my own state, and who will be the president and the vice president and the assembly, the president of the National Assembly and the speaker. I want to tell you that I believe that those calculations have already been made, and the people that will take those positions have already been paid. And what will happen is that the results by stage is going to be announced as we move on. I pray that it won't be violent, but I doubt that very, very much. But this is, for me, I believe that this is the plan that is on ground. And if politicians are not aware of this, then we're in big trouble, because I'm not a politician, and it's very clear to me where this is all heading.
Now, before we go, we will be ending shortly, but before we do, on the screen is a poll done by the Peter Obi Support Network. I think that, Marcel, you are part of the Peter Obi Support Network. There you can see they knew that that was going to happen. You can see they had a question. If Peter Obi leaves the PDP, would you go with him anywhere he goes? And obviously, you can see Nigerians have gone on to there and saying 96.5% of the people are saying we will go with. It's only 1.8% that said, well, you know, we won't. So that what it means, for the first time, we may be seeing something like a Macron happening. That is the French, you know, revolution that happened via President Emmanuel Macron. This case, you're looking at it, 96.5% of the total over 500 and something people that voted so far, saying wherever he goes, they will go with him. I mean, that is a very resounding, very, very resounding, you know, poll there. And I must commend those behind that, you know, that is a way to gauge opinion pool. And again, in conclusion here, before we leave, I will start with you, Marcel. Marcel, your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, has left. What is it then you have to tell your coalition? What is the next step?
See, our calculation was very clear, and we knew, and we advised him via our press release yesterday and the media that he should leave. And we are happy that he has obliged us and he has left, because the plan initially was they want to lock him down and ensure he doesn't appear on the ballots. Because once he has contested that election in PDP, he will not be able to move to another party. So he left. So that means he's going to join another party. And that gives us opportunity to now go to the ground and mobilize people to vote for him. It will be painful if we never have that opportunity to mobilize people to go and vote for him. And that's what we are now telling Nigerians, that we have played our game, we have made it so clear, and we have told people that you now have an opportunity to rescue your country. Let the masses decide what they want. If the masses want to continue with a country where a few are ruling and then they want to collect money, or they want to collect 1,000 naira and votes, then the suffering will continue. But if they now want someone that will be able to work for them and deliver the country for them, then they have that opportunity. So that opportunity exists. So nobody's going to take that opportunity away from them. And I'm calling on Ovie and my Angio Briggs. I know the only time we see is on shows like this. All of us need to come together. We all know deep inside our hearts that the only person that can rescue this country is Peter Obi. From his experience, he's the only person we trust. So why don't we all come together and work? It doesn't matter the party. Let us just, first of all, and Ma, see, my analysis is this. take any politician, take him out of power for 4 years, he becomes miserable. It's a proven track. Take him out of power for 4 years, he becomes miserable. So what we are planning to do is let Nigerians come together and let's take all of them out of power for 8 years. Peter Obi having a consecutive win. Take them out of power.
Thank you very much, Marcel.
Let's see if they will have the millions of dollars to dole out after 8 years. Let's see.
Thank you very much. Thank you. If I leave you, you would speak here forever and ever. And Obi, can you, your concluding thought, please?
Well, I think my calculation about Peter Obi, I think generally, I think 2023 is going to go 3 ways. By going 3 ways, we are going to possibly going to have a rerun election. It's going to be, for me, it's going to be Atiku and Peter Obi on the same ticket in PDP. I think it's another strategy for him to say, hey, I still get followers, put me on the ticket. One, it's going to be Amechi on the other side, the APC, and Konkoso, obviously Konkoso and Patutomi on the same ticket at the NNPP.
Okay, thank you very much. And my Auntie Briggs, what's your concluding thoughts on these news?
Well, the concluding thought for me, and talking directly to Peter Obi, is that he should go for it. He should do whatever it is that he needs to do to prove to Nigerians that he can salvage this country that Lugard created and put everybody in, but at least let him give it a shot. If Nigeria implodes politically, then that's it. It implodes politically.
Thank you very much. That's a very fine place to anchor it, everyone. I say thank you for these, for joining us this evening. It has been, it has been very nice reading comments and listening to everyone. The thing here is, I think, like someone wrote in the comment section, it is very nice that he would have the test of this ballot, that he actually comes into this ballot and tests his popularity. And at the end of the day, it might be that 2023 will be a time of Nigerian revolution, when Nigerians across board, north, east, west, south, can now say, we have a candidate, and this is the candidate that they will damn all consequences. If that ever happens, it may be a new dawn. But for now, let's keep our ears open. Join us here on Njenje Media TV on Saturday. The whole weekend, we will be having live transmission, analyzing all the party delegate elections. The party delegate elections will be happening live here. If you haven't subscribed to this platform, by all means, it's free to do that. Click on the subscribe button, share this clip. It is authentic for those of you who are questioning if true, if it is confirmed. Of course, if it is not confirmed, there is no way. On this platform, we do not touch anything that has to do with fake, even with a million poll away. We do not do that. So it is confirmed and it is authentic. So you join us again over the weekend as we will be doing this analysis, and maybe, God willing, Marcel and my sister Auntie Briggs and Ovie, if you guys are free over the weekend, we would reconverge here again to look at this. One thing people don't know is that, I read comments where people say, oh, you guys are wasting time, blowing grammar, only talking, no action. And it is a very myopic way of reasoning, because when you speak, when you exchange idea, when you do that, it is action actually you are taking. Because in discussions, ideas multiply, ideas, they say they rule the world. At the end of the day, let's keep fingers crossed. There are more developments, as you can, as we've read from here. Someone is saying that Ibori was disgraced today in Delta State. It appears her daughter, I think, if that was right, her daughter lost the election. And we've seen this election is going somehow. It's going somehow. We can see that Dino Melaye yesterday lost as well. No one knows if he's going to move to another party or not. But it's an interesting time. Interesting time. We must all get interested in politics. You know why? Because if we keep running away from getting involved in discussing politics, those you are better off will keep making decisions that will control your life. Think about it. Any decision that has to do with your life, health, that has to do with your health, that has to do with power generation, that has to do with your rights, it is only those who are involved in politics that make that decision. And you have to obey. Therefore, it's better you get interested. It is better you lend your voice in order to say that we get something better than what we currently have. On that note, everyone, I will say thank you once more for being my guest here. I am still Mazezoke, and once more, this is still Ninja Media TV, and I say good night to all of you. Bye-bye.